Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love college football as much as I do. The Michigan Wolverines. If you look at my thumbnail, that's how I really feel about this rivalry. Okay, I know I talk a lot of trash about Ohio State. I can because these Ohio State fans are obnoxious for the most part. And I've had fun talking trash because they do too. And I heard a lot of stuff about last year's game before it actually happened about what was going to happen, this and that. But look, I really don't have a problem with Ohio State. I really don't. I just like talking trash because I can. And whenever they beat us, I'll stop. But right now, that ain't stopping. So here we go. Michigan brings in Bryce Underwood from high school, a really high-level player, the best player out of high school from this past year's recruiting class. They recruited pretty good these last few years. And Michigan is going to bring back a lot of players from last year. If you remember back to the Ohio State, even before that, no Will Johnson, no Colston Loveland, a lot of players were out, and they still beat Ohio State and Alabama in their bowl games, finishing 8-5. Not a great record, but it's for a first-year head coach, that's pretty darn good, especially with Sherrone Moore. He's been with Michigan, but he was never the head coach. It was Jim Harbaugh, as we all know. And he was working with new pieces, new coordinators, new starters from that left after the national championship year, and I thought he did a really good job overall as a head coach. Now on to the second year. They host New Mexico. I think they should win that game without any problems. Then they go on the road to Oklahoma. If you've already seen my Oklahoma video and if you've already seen my Oklahoma-Michigan prediction, you know which way I'm already headed. It came down to two things for me when it came to picking this game. Oklahoma has two things in their advantages. Home field advantage and John Mateer. John Mateer is from Washington State. He's a transfer that played really good football. He plays a lot like Cam Ward. Oklahoma's got a defense coming back, just like Michigan does. But again, Michigan also, the main thing I took away, not just home field advantage, but the quarterback position. Bryce Underwood, I believe he's got what it takes to be a great college quarterback. One day may go to the NFL and do great, but he has not had all that experience. John Mateer has had the experience. So for those reasons, I am leaning towards Oklahoma in this game. Now, if Michigan's quarterback, if Bryce Underwood in only his second college football game can manage the game well, not throw picks, can make crucial plays to win, to keep his team, his offense on the field and make plays and open up the running game, be a part of the running game. And if Michigan's defense can win the line of scrimmage, I could see a case and scenario where they pull this off against Oklahoma. Because remember, Oklahoma's offensive line was not very good last year. Michigan's defensive front likes to prey on bad offensive lines. So if they can do a lot of things, but the thing is that things have to go right for Michigan in this game, my opinion. So yeah, there you have it. Central Michigan, that's a win. Nebraska, I had a hard time picking this game because Dylan Raiola's a good quarterback. He's coming back. He was a true freshman last year. Nebraska finished 7-6. That's not impressive, but for them it's a big deal because they made it to a bowl for the first time in almost 10 years and won it against Boston College. So congrats to them. Matt Rule's the head coach, and this is about to be his third year. And typically speaking, in his third year in any program, whether it's been Baylor or anywhere else, he tends to do very well. I expect Nebraska to be really good this year. I expect them not to beat Michigan. Again, I think Michigan has the better players. They got the better team. I do think that Matt Rule has coached longer than Sherrone Moore, so that was a kind of what made this a hard pick. But I think Michigan's players are better right now. And even though it's at Nebraska, I do think Michigan should win the game. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska were to pull this off, but I would have to pick Michigan right now. Wisconsin, I've been disappointed with Luke Fickell. I really have, and I think he'll continue to disappoint. Going 7-6 and 5-7. Give me Michigan and a big win right there at home. Then they go on the road at USC. Michigan beat this team without any quarterback play whatsoever last year. I think they'll beat them even worse. Give me Michigan. I don't care where this game is being played. They could not stop the run. Michigan ran for almost 300 yards. What was it that Lincoln Riley said for USC? He said that we played great on 85% of the defense. We played like a boss and we gave a few big runs. You got pushed around, man. Be quiet. Washington, this is going to be a get-back game. While I believe Washington's going to be better than what they were last year. They were 6-7, and they beat Michigan at home last year when Michigan was a top 10 team. That ain't happening in the big house, man. Sorry. Michigan is a better team. They got better players than Washington does. They should win this game, no problem. Then they go on the road to Michigan State. I had a hard time picking this one, too, because it was competitive last year. Michigan State almost beat us last year, and it was at home. So I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State were to continue to improve as a program. And I think they are, but I got to give Michigan the win. I still think Michigan has better players than Michigan State. I think they're the more physical team, and I believe they'll play better. And at this point in the year, this is game 7, 8, game 8, where Bryce Underwood's had plenty of experience. He's going to go through a lot at this point in the year where he'll be able to play really well and make good decisions. And this will be his best football, I think, at this point in the year. So give me Michigan over Michigan State in a tough, close win on the road. Home against Purdue, they should win that game, no problem. And then they have to play at Northwestern, at Maryland, then they come back home against Ohio State. Let me save Ohio State for last. At Northwestern, they should win. At Maryland, they should win again. Maryland has not been very good these last few years outside of having Tua's brother, Tagovailoa, whatever his name is, Taulia. And then our son, Ohio State. Until I see Ohio State beat us, I ain't picking them to do nothing against us. That puts Michigan at 11-1. And that seems pretty fair, given how they finished the year last year, bringing back most of those pieces from last year. They're bringing back players from last year, all the coaches except the new offensive coordinator, which I think will be great for Michigan football. And the fact that Ohio State couldn't beat us last year at our worst, whereas now I think Michigan will be a much better team. If Michigan gets back anywhere near to close to what they were 2 years ago when they won the national title, and if Bryce Underwood is as good as people says he is, I would not be shocked to see them go 12-0. To be honest, this is not an easy schedule. At USC, that's not easy. At Nebraska, that's going to be rough. That's a potential loss. At Michigan State, it's our rival. Michigan State, I think, will be a better team than what they have been since they won the Peach Bowl when Mel Tucker was there. Northwestern, anytime they get some older players there to play, they tend to be pretty hard to deal with. Ohio State, and as much as I like picking on them, they are a tough team to play every year. They're a great team, a great program. I think Ryan Day is doing a good job. To be honest, I think it's unfair and all the hate and all the stuff he's been getting over these last few years. Heck, I've heard he can't even go to certain places to go with his family or anything like that. He gets harassed because of the Michigan game. That's ridiculous. I mean, come on. I mean, I troll him a little bit, but I wouldn't dare insult him or his family in a personal standpoint. I mean, the game is one thing, but even then, when you see him out in public, you don't do that. I mean, come on. That's silly. Come on. But, yeah, I have Michigan going 11-1 with a loss at Oklahoma. That's best case, in my opinion. I don't think they'll go undefeated. Worst case, they could lose to Oklahoma. That Nebraska game is very losable. At USC, who knows? I mean, defensively, I didn't think they did horrible last year. They To be honest, I thought their defense played a lot better than what they had for Lincoln Riley ever. I just think the offense took a step back, and that's what made them look worse than what they really were. They were good enough to win eight or nine games last year. I mean, that's a losable game. At Ohio State, I mean, not at Ohio State, home against Ohio State, that's a very losable game. They're a more talented team than we are, even though we've continued to slap them around like we have. So 8-4 is possible. 7-5 is possible again, like it was last year. But with Sherrone Moore going through a year that he did and seeing that I think he got the right pieces in place, I think Michigan should at least be 11-1. Go Blue! We'll be in the Big Ten championship game.